Kim from the Port of Moses Lake. You guys are busy. Yeah. And commissioners, I'm sorry I didn't have your pictures up here. You're such a great commission. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm being paid. I've been the Ports of Moses Lake's Director of Finance and Administration since June of 2011. In August of this year, a wonderful opportunity came about. The commission didn't think I had enough to do, so they kindly asked me to assume the position of the interim executive director, or IED. I have loved to say no a lot, and moving into this position has kind of changed that view, of which I think they're thankful for. Nothing has blown up yet, though, at the Port of Moses Lake. We have had an explosion in the number of Boeing 737 MAXs on our property, and as of yesterday, I'm allowed to say we have 200 plus. And more are coming in every day. So it's quite a sight to see that number of airplanes in one place, all beautiful colors, all from all over the world. You are welcome to our port to look out our windows and see them, so please come visit us. I've gained a new appreciation for the executive director position, and I'm thankful to my commission for this opportunity. They are a great and supportive commission, and I've enjoyed working with each of them. I must say that I didn't really understand what I was getting myself into when I said yes. It's been a real adjustment. This is my first formal presentation that isn't a budget hearing. So when you don't know something, you go and you ask somebody. And so I asked a few people in our organization, some of my colleagues, okay, what do I do here? And they basically said, please don't embarrass us. So the bar isn't very high. So I started to think, well, that's not very helpful, but where do I go for sound advice? Good sound advice. So I called Frank Schmelik. I told him about this presentation, and aside from telling me I would do fine, he said to me, Kim, remember when the commission was looking to fill the interim executive director position, they went to the smartest person in the organization, and he turned him down. Then they went to the hardest working person in the organization, and he turned them down. So then they went to the best looking, and they got you. Yeah. Frank, I just want to set the record straight. I denied them 2 times, and on the 3rd time I agreed.
All the above.
Yeah. I am, so here goes. I am really excited about what's happening at the Port of Moses Lake. Moses Lake is my hometown. And there is so much going on there, and the port has positioned itself well. We did some strategic planning earlier this year to assess where we've been and where we really want to go. We started to prioritize our opportunities and memorialize our short-term and long-term goals. We have a small staff, very small. There's about 10 of us in the office. Small staff that's full of big thinkers and big doers. And we've had a great opportunity with our leadership that has helped us to see opportunities we never would have imagined existed. And not only that, but to help us learn to work every angle and make those opportunities realities. Sometimes we've even had to create angles to work. People didn't know where we were coming from, but blindsight is always best. The team covered, at the strategic planning, the team covered the walls with paper, and from that activity came 13 goals that we are currently working on. And kind of I just want to bring you in and let you know that here's how that's playing out for us. We've been busy in Moses Lake. We've had a lot of airfield activity. We have a full industrial park and several projects and vast opportunities to explore. This one. Thank you. So let's go to our airfield activity. It was really interesting yesterday to listen to the gentleman from Pierce County talk about JBLM and the impact it has on them. Joint Base Lewis McChord is the biggest user of our airfield. They have a short field runway at the north end of our airfield that is commonly referred to as the assault strip. It's a short field runway. They perform roughly 8,000 C-17 operations a year. With that relationship, we've been able to create a niche market with all branches of the service. This year, we've had several different military groups utilize our open ground and airspace to execute tactical training. The Port of Moses Lake considers itself a military partner and is proud to have the Army, Navy, Air Force, and Marine Corps utilize our facility. The port is also home to the U.S. Forest Service Air Tanker Base. This base is an essential part of the wildfire management activity in Washington, Oregon, Idaho, and Montana. Flight operations are wildfire-based. So we have been and are thankful that the last few years have seen a reduced number of flights. I think in 2014, we saw over 2,000 flights come in and out of our airfield, and those are loaded tankers. We consider ourselves a premier flight test with users like Boeing. There's a few of those. There's a little bit of what it looks like currently out at our airfield. Mitsubishi Aircraft Corporation, Aerotech, Aviation Technical Services, and Greenpoint. We have 2 full-service FBOs, and we are a one-stop shop, FAA tower, TRACON facility, allowing us great flexibility on the ground and in the air. Moving to our industrial park. The Port Industrial Park has approximately 200 leasable properties and is home to over 100 tenants that employ roughly 2,200 people. Industries like Terex, Chemicon Materials Corporation, and Joyce and Safety Systems are just a few of them. With industrial tenants comes the industrial wastewater facility. It currently has 6 users and a 400,000 gallon per day capacity, and it is currently being fully utilized. This brings us to our projects. The wastewater expansion project involves a new well. When the original well was installed in 1999, the casing hit a rock and veered off 400 feet before it should have. Somewhere between our 2014 expansion and today, an attempt was made to drop the pump to increase the freshwater flow to the system, and it wouldn't go anywhere. Thus, then we'll be installing a new well. Also, the project is going to include the creation of a new pond, which will increase the capacity to 1 million gallons a day. Engineer projections for these 2 projects is $10 million. The port is looking at possibly, we have a great staff that looks at things differently than a lot of people, and so how can we make this cheaper? We have some great ideas to reduce our excavation costs. So, but we will be issuing revenue bonds for that, that work. Can you tell what that is? He gave me that slide. I can't tell what that is. Okay, here we go. The Northern Columbia Basin Rail Project. This project has been in the works for about 20 years. In 2015, Washington State appropriated $20 million to move the project forward. The drawings for segment 1 and 2 are almost finished. We sought and were awarded a fast lane grant of $10 million in the fall of 2017. We are awaiting FRA FONSI approval, expected this December, and STB supplemental environmental assessment. Wow, that's a mouthful. Approval expected February of 2020. Our hope is to obligate the Fast Lane grant in the spring of 2020. Well, this was the plan before I-976. We've been assured that our funds are still available at this point. Also, I'm really hoping to finish this project before I retire in 2032. Or this could be an explosion under me, so we'll see. We have a line of sight project, it's the green part. This is a $20 million project mandated by the FAA to bring our runway line of sight and lighting into compliance. The FAA will be funding 90% of this. Grand County International was previously a U.S. Air Force B-52 base. And I don't know if any of you have seen those monsters fly, but we were able to have them come visit us this summer for about 3 weeks while they did some training out here. They are huge. But it being a previous B-52 base means that the B-52s, to get off the ground fully loaded, there was a hump or a peak was engineered into the original runway as an encouragement for those humongous beasts to get off the ground with their wings. In today's world, that causes a line of sight issue. So if you stand at one end of the runway and look 13,503 feet, down to the other end, you can't see it. There's about it's about 6 feet that they'll be removing from there. This means that the FAA tower, which means that because our FAA tower is closed at night, no one can land on the runway because they can't see someone coming from the other way. So the lighting work has begun on that project. We've started that. Our airfield has been down. That runway has been down for about, it will be down for about a month. And then on January 20th, the runway will close and the demolition excavation work will start. We were told by our business development guy that the project will be done on June 5th. Lastly, our west side development. This is actually my favorite project. Moses Lake is out of industrial development land. Currently, there's no access to the west side of our property. And this project would open up this land for development with an entrance off Highway 17, which is a limited access highway, and a 3.5-mile road with sewer and water. Which brings us to our opportunities. With the completion of this highway entrance and new road, the west side development will begin. The area has over 2,000 acres for industrial development, and we're currently working with stakeholders out there, and we've already seen a huge interest from large industrial firms. We have utilized CURB for this project, and we have formed an LID out there. So the blue lands are private property, and they will actually share in the cost of the project. This is the only slide that has words really on it. The civilian supersonic corridor is a 300-mile corridor above 30,000 feet. I'm supposed to say that really with intent, above 30,000 feet for flight test. Currently, federal law prohibits civilian supersonic flights over the continental United States. This prohibition is a relic of the days of the sonic booms and the Concorde. In 2017, Congress authorized the FAA to initiate a process to examine supersonic flights again over the United States. With new technology, the sonic booms of yesterday are now a thump equivalent to a car door slamming. Today, the only location where manufacturers can test aircraft at supersonic speeds is Edwards Air Force Base in California. The testing corridor is short, and the ability to schedule is limited based on military use, and it always takes precedence. There are currently 6 or 7 manufacturers developing prototype aircraft for testing and certification purposes. Industries like Gulfstream, Boom, Lockheed Martin, Spike, Boeing Ariane, and Sierra Nevada Corporation are working on technology that will benefit from this airspace. The Port of Moses Lake, with the support of these industries, is the government entity petitioning the federal government to create this corridor to be operated by the FAA for civilian use. Lastly, the Airport Siting Committee. The Port of Moses Lake is pleased to be a member of the Aviation Siting Committee. Port Commissioner Stroud Kunkel has been appointed to serve on this commission. The Port of Moses Lake is looking forward to being a part of the solution to the increasing demand for limited airspace and airports in Washington state. The port has the infrastructure and available land to increase aircraft testing and certification, increase air cargo freight traffic, grow aerospace repair, maintenance, and retrofitting, and grow aerospace manufacturing. All these uses consume limited airspace and infrastructure in Western Washington. The Port of Moses Lake has the infrastructure and land to accommodate these activities. And the port could also expand once again into passenger traffic. The Port of Moses Lake is on the move. We are working hard at the port to optimize growth opportunities. We take our mission for economic development seriously, and we look good doing it. Thank you.